All right, welcome to another episode of Roll or Die. Today we have one of the OGs of Australian Jiu-Jitsu. If you don't know who this woman is, you don't know Jiu-Jitsu. I'm sorry. I'd like to introduce
Wow.
Jean Alvisse.
I'm
Welcome.
flattered. Kim, if you don't know me, you don't know me. But yeah,
Yeah, you are
you're
like the
probably not.
godmother of Australian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know
Oh, mama.
if you feel like that, but
Mama.
you really are. You are the one that people go to look up to. Um, you got your black belt. What are you in the sort of the first 5 women in Australia to get it? What number were you? Do you remember?
Oh gosh, I don't. I wish. Yeah, it would have been great if I was. I don't think so. I don't think I was in the top five, but
Surely the
I'm
top
happy
10.
to.
You're definitely in the first
Maybe,
10. Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
13, 14. But anywho,
Yes.
yes, I was
Definitely an
Very
very
long
OG.
time.
important.
Long OG of OGs. We've had a lot of the male OGs on, not as many of the females. So yeah, time to represent. So yeah, welcome. Thanks for joining
Thank,
us.
thank you very much. Thank you for contacting me and making me quiver in my
No,
beef
no.
pants. So what
Yeah.
am I gonna say that's
What,
interesting and
what,
funny?
what,
And
what is your memories of getting your black belt? Because it would have been a time where, I guess it wasn't very common. There weren't a lot of women in the scene really, so it would have been, you know, it would have been a very, it was an even bigger deal than it already is. Let's put it that way. But what are your memories of that?
yeah. Oh, look, there were a lot of, it was quietly so, but there are a lot of women who had got their black belt before me, and that's all cool. But my memories were of shock because I thought I was honestly going to be a brown belt for the rest of my life. It was just one of those things, you lose attachment to a color, so to speak, and it's like, okay, I'm down with this. I'm down with it. I'm just here to roll. Every time I'm on the mats is a blessing. I'm getting older. My joints are getting older. My speed and all that. So it was a moment of shock to go, oh, here it is. Finally, this is it. Now what am I going to do with it?
Like an
Now
empty.
I can't hide. I can't hide behind the brown belt and just disappear here and there. You're there to represent. So it was mostly shock, then of gratitude, and then the whole. I'm sure every black belt who gets it gets the same thought of the imposter syndrome. Oh, I'm not ready for it now. I've been waiting all my life now, but I'm not ready for it now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So all of that thought process goes through. But I'm okay with it now. I'm sad. I wear it well.
Yes, you do. You do.
I'm
And
happy with it. I can perch back onto the edge of the mats and go, no, I'm choosing not to roll. Or
yes.
if I do want to roll, it's going to be, it's going to be a fun, light roll. If I want it hard, it's going to be hard. I don't feel as if I have to put the blood, sweat, and tears in the sense that I did when I was going through the ranks.
Yeah.
It's just a bit different. It's still blood, sweat, and tears, mind you, but it's in a different way.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And
And I
Jean
was just like, oh God. Yes,
you
sorry,
did
Kim.
go through the ranks, Anton. You may not be aware that Jean represented Australia at ADCC, at Abu Dhabi. She was at World Masters the year that we were there. She won a silver in the black belt division that year. This
Wow.
woman is
What a
legit.
memory,
Like,
Kim. What a
yeah,
memory.
she is. Yeah, she was going to the comps when there were very few women, in Australian Jiu-Jitsu, and yeah, she was, I guess, lucky enough to get through and represent Australia. So, can you tell us about some of those like international trips that you did back in the day?
Sure.
So, was it
They
what,
just so much.
2007?
Oh, I can't. Oh,
ADCC, yeah,
shows my
2009, yeah.
age. When you throw those digits up at 2007, I can hardly remember what I did yesterday. 2000, it would have been around that time, and it was a stellar crew. We were all blue and purple belts. We were like, I don't want to throw any religion into, and please forgive me, I take this in it with a grain of salt and a sense of humor. It was like being a Christian being sent to the lions. It was like you knew you were going in to just go to war and to battle. The likelihood of you coming out, in a fantasy would have been fabulous. It's like, great, yeah, good. I'm going to go in there, but just go and do the best you can. So who was there? There was some, like, it was Nogi. So it was in New Jersey. It was touted to be in Madison Square Gardens, and everybody was like, "Woo! We're all going to
Wow.
be doing Square Gardens. We've made it!" And then it changed to New Jersey in some sort of butt place out the back somewhere. Like, oh, okay.
There's a sign when you get
scary.
to Madison Square Gardens, and there's a sign going reroute to New Jersey for your pure.
Yeah, you took a left turn at Albuquerque. Now go back that way. Ooh, yes. So that was good. It was really good. There was, gosh, who did I fight? It was the Japanese fighter Megumi Fuji. So, fabulous, small little Japanese top MMA fighter. Of course, I lost brutally to her, and there was a story leading up to that because the first fight that I had was with a Brazilian. Can't remember her name. It was Bianca such and such, Brazilian surname, who'd been a black belt for years. And there I was just going, righto, staring down the barrel of this gun, going, I've just got to just get in there, Jean, get in there, do your best. So, of course, she omniplasted me within like a minute of the round. I thought,
you got in there too far.
That's it. And that's when it was like the first 5 minutes you're fighting for points. I mean, there's nothing. There's no points. There's nothing. You're fighting for submission. Then when it clocks over to the 5 minutes, then you're fighting to get the points and all that kind of stuff. So I was out. That was it. And I was sitting in the back commiserating, going, woo, and there was Marcelo Garcia and all these amazing crew out there warming up and stuff. And I was back there, I think it was with Mariana and Stace, Fiona Muxlow, and Beck Atwood at that stage.
Marianne Malahy,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was at the back there just faffing around. And then it was Elvis Sinosek who came out and said, "Gee, you've been in the draw and you're back out again. You've got a second chance." And I was like, "No, I put this to bed, Elvis. I put this to bed.
My makeup's all run now. I can't go back out there."
It wasn't like a round robin where I was ready to go back out there. I had already gone into the defeat zone, and I've lost it. And I was like, I'm standing there, and you know how tall they are, Elvis Sinosek and his partner, and they were like, "Gee, you've got to fight. You've got to go back out there again." I'm no. And they were like, "If you do this, you're fighting for third position. You will get third. You'll get a bronze." And then I was like, "Oh, all right, I'll do it. And then I psyched myself up there. And then I was staring at Megumi Fuji. And I don't know if you've watched some of the YouTube clips. Maybe you might have a look at some of her old YouTube clips where she's in the ring and she's fighting, and she puts on an ankle lock on one of her opponent, and she snaps her opponent's ankle, and her opponent's ankle is just like her foot's dangling. And I'm looking at this woman going, "Oh God, get in there, Jean, get in there. It doesn't matter. You're doing it for the glory of whatever it means to you. So get in there." And I fought so hard. And I think I made it to the 4-minute and 50-second mark. And I thought she was just playing with me, but I was giving it 110%. I gave everything. And then she armbarred me. And I went, 10 seconds to go, and I could have gone for points. So in my mind, those 10 seconds will keep playing, to 11 seconds to go. I could have got an extra point on her, but that's it, and the rest is history. And that was a fabulous trip. It was great. I had a lot of fun, a lot of memories.
Awesome.
That was the very first one.
Yeah. You talk about like the YouTube clips. We're actually playing in the background. What I sometimes do with our guests, I play, and I had a bit of a search for you. I could only find a couple of things on YouTube, and this is your Australian qualifier for the Abu Dhabi Pro as a purple belt against Kate De Silva, Kate Aroa.
Fabulous.
Abu Dhabi. Talk to us about that.
What a comp. Okay, it was the hottest day in the world, I felt like. It was so steamingly hot. That's one of the memories that I have of it. I'm standing around in the gi, just going, I'm going to die before I get onto that mat, of exhaustion, of just that tension of waiting, because I hadn't competed for a long time. And this is my way of just jumping back into it. I thought, I'll just jump in, see how I go. just see how I go with this one. Hey, I put a lot of effort into the training beforehand, but it was really, really hot. It was the longest day ever, as long as the hottest day ever. I think we fought at 8:30 or something ridiculous like that, and we were asked to be there at the beginning. So it would have been, doors open 9 o'clock, weigh in again. So we were there for a good 11 hours or so, just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So the first fight, I can't remember what time, that was earlier, but the finals were on much, much later. So it was that whole mind game of just trying to get through that day, really, and then hoping it was all going to be over. And it was. Everything does come to an end. And it was a fabulous fight. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. I'd got rid of the nerves of the first fight and then just got into it. And Kate we were just gunning for each other.
Yeah.
And then we tapped hands at the end of it and shook hands, and it was a hug, and it was just like, you're the best. Thank you very much. But it was brutal. But a really, really good match. And then I met up with Kate again in the recent A-Gig camp. And it was the first time we'd hung out together since the fight. And it was beautiful because it was like purple belt we met and we fought, and then we met back again at black belt and we shared the mats and we rolled again. And it was just like this marking of time to go look at what happens when, you just basically stick around. You just commit to the mats. You go regularly, you get in there, and then eventually everything comes your way.
Yeah.
Although I was thinking I was going to be brown belt.
What does competing mean to you, Jean? Like, obviously, you've put yourself in some pretty big arenas, and some people just don't compete at all, and they're very comfortable with that. Some people, like for me, I like to compete only because it gives me a reason to train more, and with purpose.
Sure.
What's your reason? Like, what gets you out of bed to register for a competition?
Right. I feel that my competition days are quite limited now, mainly because of just age and traveling overseas, because that would be the next thing that I would do if I could. But I've had different reasons at different stages that have gotten me through. So back in the day, when I first started out as white belt, I think it was white belt 2, I didn't ever want to compete. And then there was just a switch that clicked, that it was, why am I doing this if I'm not going to put myself out there and test my skills against other women? So that was the driving force then. Then as purple belt, as blue belt, my confidence was gathering, and it was, let's see how far I can take this. And I'm just going to go to the opening of an envelope. I'm just going to go. And every competition, I'm going to be there, and I'm just going to do whatever I can do. I'm just going to take it to Australia. And then when the very first Abu Dhabi trials came, no-gi, I tried out for that as a white belt, and I was up against Carmen. I don't know if anybody remembers Carmen.
She was down here in Melbourne. A lot bigger than you, though. Yeah.
Not
the same weight division.
No, not so much. I think we were in the same division at that stage. Mind you, it was probably under 62 and then over 62 in the no-gi.
Yeah.
So I was up against her.
Carmen? Is that right? Carmen?
Pardon me?
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. I'm thinking of someone else. Yeah, Carmen. Yeah, she got her black belt from Tiago.
Yeah.
Yes, Carmen's in Germany now. Lives in
That's
Germany.
right, yes.
German. I was over there. So I fought with her then as a white belt, and then I got a taste of that, okay, there's more potential than just Australia here to compete. So I thought, I will give it a go. I'll give it a go and see how far I went. So I didn't do anything in the first competition. Thought, no, I'll try again. I'll wait that up 2 years, and I'll solidly put, effort into the next 2 years to train. And I did. So that, I guess that the second stage of blue belt was, let's see how far I can get this and see how far I can go. And that was really exciting, very, very exciting. Then as purple belt came along, it was very similar because there was a whole lot more girls that were coming through. Talented girls, committed women who were strong as well. It wasn't just this, there's 1 or 2 women and okay, then you just won because there's only a couple of women, which I've always found highly derogatory. But it's like there were a lot of women, there was a lot of competition to be had, so it was a lot more fun. So that was purple belt, still pushing it. I think at brown belt, I competed once, and that's when my partner, we were in the process of having a child. So there wasn't so much on the mat training at that stage, and I was a little bit distracted. Not that I'm making an excuse, I lost fair and square. So that was my taste. I only competed once at purple belt. I'm sorry, at
brown belt.
Brown belt.
Yeah.
And gave it away for a long time because I was just feeling the effects of the hardcore training for competition. And then at black belt, there was a milestone age, an age that I will not speak of.
25. We're talking 25, right?
30, I was 30. It's a very big age. So, and I thought, I have to celebrate this. I have to celebrate it. And I'm just not going to just sit around and go for a booze. And also my boy, my son, I wanted to leave him something that he could see and I guess look up and say, you know, Mama did that. Mama did that at that level. And he was there a lot of the time to see the struggle. He was little, you know, a little blur. I think he was about 4 at that stage. So it was like, it was part and parcel of going, you know, how can I show him that the struggle that he has will struggle all the way through. So each time I've competed and the reasons have been different.
I love
very,
that.
very different.
That's an amazing.
So it's not, and the next time I'll probably compete, I'll be older again, and that will be just for the sake of going, God damn it, I'm going to get that gold. And that there's going to be no age limit on my dream. So, you know, if I'm going to be one of those YouTubers who are on there and, you know, is 75 and fighting for that gold, it'll be. That's the way it will be. So each belt is different. No age group, no age barrier on my dreams. And that's one thing that I'd like to share with a lot of people out there. Don't let it get in the way. Slowly. Although COVID's a big bugger, as you guys would know.
You're a personal trainer too, Jean. Like, do you have any tips or advice for maybe older grapplers or people in terms of how they can stay on the mat, how they can have that longevity into their later years?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. You need to keep up with your strength training. You need to keep up with your mobility. It's essential. I was talking to one of the fellas on the mats. Yeah, I think it was recently a Saturday. It was, you know, when you're coasting, you know, when you're just getting by with as little as possible, and then something will happen and you'll go, no, I need to commit again, and I need to start getting on the program. I need to get on the strength training. I need to work on my mobility. So absolutely, you need to continue on with the strength training. Get in there. Don't be lazy. It just helps with the injury prevention. And I think, it was actually somebody posted. It was Deborah Hay. Hello, Deborah Hay. If you are listening to this, I'm going to name drop you. She posted this wonderful thing about being a jiu-jitsu, an older player in jiu-jitsu. And there was this quote that this guy was saying. It's like, you lose 10 beats per minute per decade of your heart rate. So in my maximum heart rate, say in my 20s, would have been, I could push it to 190. So each decade it's dropping. So if you're coming up against a young buck who's, you know, 110% gunning for you, your ability to cardiovascularly sustain that relentless energy it's decreasing. So, you know, you've got to train. You've got to do the external work to stay on the mats. Know when you're coasting and being lazy, and know when you need to pull your finger out and get on the weights. It's essential.
So
absolutely.
Because I definitely get that's that laziness or that coasting. When you're motivating people, do you use the stick or the carrot? Are you like, you're just being a fucking lazy dickhead, get back together? Or are you like, come on, like think about, you know, like do you have motivating ways, or are you just like
well, it depends. I think part of it is knowing your say clientele, or knowing the people that you're working with. Some people you'll break with a slight offhandish, quip it doesn't serve them well. Some people love to be talked dirty to and slapped around. That's fine. You do that. You get that's their motivation. It's knowing the person enough to know the hook and how to motivate them. Yeah. And that just comes with the knowledge, I feel. Sometimes it depends, if I'm feeling grumpy or whatever, I'll just be just be a bitch.
One of my personal trainers,
no, I'm not really.
Lily Costa, I used to get her to call me maggot. I was like, give me 20 more maggot.
Call me maggot. I'll do another rep for you. Yeah. See, look, obviously you like to be talked in that way. Yeah. To get that extra oomph out. But I'm like, if my PT or my coach spoke to me like, I'd be like, oh, doing this. Talk to me with respect. So
you were talking before about like the young bucks. Like, how do you deal with that as a younger person, as maybe a smaller, older person, if you don't mind me saying, like someone who's younger than you, who's really gunning for you? So a young blue belt that's coming for you. You are a black belt. You're on the mat. Do you want to represent, or do you kind of like, hey, all right, I just got to accept that I'm gonna like not be able to match this? What's your thought process behind that?
As I said in the very beginning, I think I've earned the right to be able to sit on the mats sometimes and observe. So when I do go to open mats, I spend a lot of time watching the blue belts, and I don't always roll with everybody. I do eventually roll with as many people as I can, but it's my body that's on the line too. When the ego comes up, I feel as if it's like, righto, let's go to town here. But in my mind, I'm always just trying to process the fact that I'm glad to be still on the mats. I try and not be as egotistical as I was, because at the end of the day, it's me who's going to get injured, not them. So, look, how do I deal with it? I don't. I have a great big sock. I go off and go, shit, I need to pull my finger out. I need to go and lift weights. I go through the whole process. No, seriously, in all seriousness, I do weigh up who I roll with. I make sure that on the days that I am, sharp, feeling really good, then I can pretty much take on the eager blue belt who wants to kill me. Because we have our ways. We have the magic ways of the black belt. As big as they are, I can still move around that boulder. There's certain things that I can do, and if it's a 6-minute round, I can wait. They want to put the pressure on me.
That's my secret. You're giving away my secrets, Jean.
There is no secret, is it? You just wait, let them gas themselves, go to town.
Stall it out, man.
And exactly. And then, if I know that when I'm in a better position and I hang on to that better position, and I'll fight for that position, no doubt. And then you just whisper really bad things in their ear. You suck. Your jiu-jitsu suck. So you break them and then you go to town. So no, it's never easy. It is brutal, but that's part of jiu-jitsu, isn't it? Even I would say as a black belt, of course, and as an older black belt, a smaller one, the feelings haven't changed. I've just managed them a little bit more. The ego's taken a bit more bruising to go, if I get beaten up by a strong blue belt, I got beaten up by a strong blue belt. That's okay with me. I live to tell another tale, and I'll be on the mats. I've been on the mats for a long time. So, that's the way I deal with it, Kim. It's a very long-winded answer to that. But each response, each role is going to be different. And I'm just happy to be rolling.
You touched on earlier about, and it was kind of a throwaway comment, but so I just want to make sure that we give you the chance to kind of talk about it. But you talked about there was something that you thought was quite chauvinistic about women in jiu-jitsu back in the day, and I'd love to kind of just explore that a little bit, without, as long as it's not something that's upsetting to talk about or anything like that.
I won't mention any names or anything like that, but no, there was no names. If there were, they're no longer on the mats anyway. So the proof is in longevity, I feel, as well. But there was a sense of, because there weren't many women, that it was easier to win. But it's about, did that make sense?
Like the pool is smaller, so you should be able to win. It's not like
you've got a better chance.
Yeah,
you've got a better chance. Whereas the guys, we've got 50 in this division, and I've got to work really, really hard to get through. So that was I say it's a misconception, but each person struggles with whatever they have to go through to get on the mats.
I totally get that. That recreates for me what it's like to be a master and compete. Because often I'll only have one match or two matches, and people will go, well, it's not like you're doing adults. But I'm not an adult. I'm a master. I'm 47, and it's difficult for me to compete in jiu-jitsu. Everything hurts leading up to it. Everything.
100%. I get you, and that's what I said. It's about the longevity. If you can look back at all the people who've kind of said things like that, and you go, there's probably a great percentage of you that aren't still doing it. Yeah. So, I'm here and I'm doing it still, and I'll continue to do it for as long as I can do it, and I'll get beaten up. But that was my point that I was trying to make. It's like, it's not necessarily easier for me. I still put a lot of effort into it. I still put a lot of time, put aside work to put my focus on those days. It's different now. So, with a child and work once again, and body, you've had to kind of like move things aside as a priority that jiu-jitsu was for me. And now it's a lifestyle now. It's a great lifestyle. I love it.
And you've talked a lot about longevity and stuff. So can I ask, like, how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu? When did you start? How did you start? Like, I imagine at the time you started, there wasn't a lot of females around. Like, what brought you to jiu-jitsu? Was it
there
like
wasn't
the
even
UFC?
Electricity when I started, Kim? I'm joking.
You're one of those steam-powered gyms.
That's kind of how long you've been doing something, is when you can't remember how long you've done it. You have to ask other people. I can't actually remember a date that I started. I know it was in Western Australia with Adam Metcalf.
Oh, yeah.
It would be in excess of 10 to 12 years, probably more. And having said that, and being honest as well, there were times where you would train solidly and then you would be off the mats with injury, life, work. So, over the last 10, 15, in excess years, potentially, I wouldn't say out of those years, I've spent every year of it on the mat. So, the lineage is that I started off at Adam Metcalf's AMMA, the Academy of Mixed Martial Arts in Western Australia. And I stayed with him till I was a white 4, and then I left Western Australia, went to Sydney, trained with Larry Papadopoulos at Boxing Works for a long time, and then was training with Rodney Ellis, who gave me my purple belt at Southern Cross Jiu-Jitsu. And then from purple belt to black, I was with Yarrow Jiu-Jitsu with Guy Neves under Guy. So that's it. So there's many years. I can't recall exactly in years, but minimum of a decade, in time.
What had you just say, I'm going to try jiu-jitsu? Like, what was that moment? Was that the UFC? Like, or was it?
I love that question. It's I started out doing kung fu, as every good Asian does, to get in line with, to get in touch with their heritage. You go, how am I going to make this work? I need to do this. I need to fulfill my destiny. I'll do kung fu. I also liked watching Monkey, so I was deeply influenced by that. So I went off and did that so I could learn the staff and or the weaponry. And then I transitioned to Muay Thai, and I was looking for a new club at that stage. And then I checked out Adam's club, and I was doing the Muay Thai for a while, probably about 6 months. And then in the corner of my eye, there was mats, and there was one girl, Hayley, I remember her, and she was a blue belt. Oh my God, she was the highest rank that I'd ever seen as a female, as a blue belt. And she and Dean Parker, and they were slaughtering each other. And there was another couple of guys. And Hayley was like, oh my God, what is she doing? She's like, she's on her back and she's got her legs wrapped around him. It's like, oh my God. I was revolted and excited at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to do that. And that's where it was. It was like, I need to know how this woman is doing that to those guys.
Yeah.
I just flinging them, sweeping them, and like throwing them, and then arm barring them. These are all the words that I know now, but I didn't know then. Look what she's doing. She's doing that. She's doing that.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I have to know. I have to know that. And then the story, and I fell in love with it. From the moment I was on the mats. I loved it.
Such a brilliant story.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Blue belt,
Awesome.
high. Yeah, she was the highest belt, Hayley. I don't know where Hayley is. Maybe I need to do a bit of tracking, find out where she is. But
get her on the show. Let's get her on the show.
Get her on the show, Adam.
As long as Kim aligns. I have a habit of jumping the gun, and he's like, slow down, Anton. Let's talk about
it. He's going off gung ho, like inviting all these people. What the hell? Yeah. It's funny that you say that, Jean, actually, like you looked up to this other blue belt woman as the highest rank, because I feel like for so long, so many of us looked up to you as like the highest ranked female, like especially that Abu Dhabi trials in 2011 as purple belts. Like, I think I was maybe a brand new blue belt. I might have still been a white belt then, watching that, just going like, wow, there's purple belt women like in Australia, like we didn't know. So you might feel like, you're very humble about it all, but really you pioneered the way for all these women today to be on the mat. Like, I look at comps now and I can't believe there's like so many different women, like so many like divisions of women, where previously, you competed at like purple to black. They had to combine the belts. They had to combine all the weights together. So like you definitely, as I said at the beginning, you are one of the OGs of Australian Jiu-Jitsu for women. So definitely should feel very proud of that.
I feel very honoured that you're saying OG in like a funky kind of.
People call me an OG, so I'm like, hang on a minute, like really.
And testimony to the women who came before me. So there was Philippa, and there was Sari, there was Stacey, there was Maria. There's a lot of girls who, not a lot of girls. There was a few girls who were like, and I still have deep admiration for them, to go, wow, I saw them competing as well, to go, and the legacy gets passed on, doesn't it? And I hopefully, leave that for people, and it's been a fun ride.
What occurs to me about it is, like, if there wasn't such great women in there in the beginning, it may not have been as big an incentive for so many women to come through. So, like, the fact that you are obviously a great human being, Kim's a great human being, but there's all of these, the up and comers, they have these great female role models to look up to and go, I want to be like that. And so they stick around in a really hard sport, like men and women too. It's a great community with great leadership in there, and I think it's an awesome testament to what it is that jiu-jitsu is.
There is, and as it's grown, there's more of a sense of community that has been developed, like spearheaded by Jess Fraser as well, who've held big community events to bring women together. And in turn, it has influenced other women to go, yeah, okay, I can actively do this as well. And so, I can have, different little groups and communities spearheaded by other women as well. So it spreads, the community spreads and the goodwill spreads. But absolutely, 100%. And like, to be around for as long as I have and to see it just makes me emotional. It is such a beautiful thing to see so many women, like Kim was just mentioning, the divisions now that there are, and the talent pool that is out there, the scary talent pool at blue belt and high white fours, where you're going, wow, you guys are amazing. You would give me a run for my money if I was to step foot there now, and I'd have to work really, really hard. So it's a beautiful thing to see, wonderful thing to see. And so when the gates open and people can start to compete again, I'd like to see, no doubt there'll be a lot of hungry Australian women will be gunning for those titles overseas as well. And
that's it.
You
that's
too,
it.
Kim.
Yeah, well, let's hope that we can get back overseas and kick this COVID's butt soon.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we are nearly out of
Absolutely, guys.
time. So thank you so much for giving up your time, Jean. Really appreciate it. So
It's been a lot of fun.
pleased. See, it wasn't that scary after all. We're friendly people, and you did great. So thank you again.
Thank you. And Anton, it's nice to meet you and see your face.
You too, Jane.
Can't see your face now, but yeah.
I feel so much better for having met you and done this show with you. I really feel like I've met a great man.
She's a beautiful person. Beautiful.
It's a mutual, it's reciprocal. Yeah, win-win, I say.
Community. Awesome.
Community.
All right. Thank you,
you for
Jean.
having
We will
me.
have this out soon. Please share it if you can, and look forward to seeing you on the mats very soon.
Stay strong, get out of lockdown. See you
We
later,
will.
guys.
See ya. Bye.
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 See ya.